How's it, football family and soccer brothers and sisters? Welcome to Panenka Pundit Week 12, Episode 1. I'm so delighted to do the show again because international break is over. Everyone hates it. I have no idea why there's so many breaks. We keep on talking about this, but anyway, we are back and we have an action-packed show for you guys today. First up, we have Brandon here, our Manchester City boy. He is going to play the referee today for our combined 11 between Manchester United and between Chelsea. And then we have Oral, who has been an Ollie out faithful for quite some time now. And I'll introduce you guys to the following. The moment Ollie got sacked, I asked Oral, how do you feel? How's the vibe? Are you happy? Because he was actually one of the first ones to say, you know what? I think it's time. Ollie must go. And his response to me when I texted him was, no. Oral, would you like to elaborate what is happening at the club and why are you unhappy with the sacking of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Hey, Rowan. Hey, Brendan.
How's
awesome
that?
to be with you guys on the show again. Hey, man. Look, I'm smiling today. I don't have black on. The logo is back, you know. So I'm okay. I'm in a good space. I think just for on the onset, I was just happy about that win that we had against Villarreal, and it actually felt good to celebrate the win a little again. You know, we've been losing like on such a bad streak. We've been on such a bad streak. But just to have that win, a good win, we had the Sue going. We had Jadon Sancho that scored a brilliant goal. So that just put me in my field. So I'm happy about that. But am I happy about the sacking? Not entirely. Like I said, the logo is back. I think it just showed again how bad our club is actually run. I think they had to have a plan in place since the Liverpool loss, which they clearly didn't. We clearly see that they came out and they said they're backing Ollie, which we clearly understand they did. And I think up until the Watford loss, I still don't think they thought that they were going to sack him. So I think our bodies just run so badly. Our owners are just in the mud. Ed Woodward as a CEO, I really don't know what he's still doing there. This would be his fifth manager since Alex Ferguson. And so the question is, like, if you've been through such a lot of managers, isn't it about time that you start looking at the CEO, the guy that's running the club? Maybe the problem is not the managers. I mean, we've had some of the best. We had David Moyes, which was good at his time, seconded by Alex Ferguson. We had Louis van Gaal. We had Jose Mourinho. We had Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I mean, good managers, but only Ollie. But I mean, they were there, they came, they had some credentials, but they still didn't succeed. So the question is it the management staff? I think not. I think it's about time that they do some managerial changes in terms of the CEO. Ed Woodward was about to leave at the end of the year, and now there's reports that he says he's going to stay. So I mean, I don't know. This club is just a mess. But okay, we look forward. Ollie is sacked, which is good. That was a good place to start. Part of the reason why I wasn't entirely happy is because the coaching setup that was with Ollie wasn't sacked as well, which I felt they had to leave as well. Mike Phelan McKenna and Michael Carey. But we understand that we had 2 days to go before the Villa game after the Watford game. So we had to have maybe some sort of managerial team there just to prepare for the Villa game. So reports have been going about us getting Pochettino and the likes. Like with our transfer windows, we are reported to get everyone and linked to every player in the world. And now every single manager is being reported to be getting the job and having had interviews. So I think it's a good place to be at. But now we're looking at the next. What's the way forward? Who are we going to get? Is United going to live up to this big club status, go in and get whoever you want, even if that coach is already managing a team mid-season? Do we have the muscle, the club might, to go and do what we got to do and get in what we need? So that's the next thing we're looking at now. And yeah, I'm hopeful that they'll do the right thing.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I think one thing that Manchester United fans have been frustrated about over the last few seasons, not only with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer now and what the team or the staff was doing behind the scenes, was the lack of being clinical when it comes to stuff like signing the correct players, getting the correct managers. Because all of a sudden, Antonio Conte is gone at Tottenham, and I'm not convinced Antonio Conte is going to stay there longer than a season or two. I'm not convinced. So maybe it's a patient game for you guys. But then again, in the same hand, if we could talk about Antonio Conte, if you can't handle Jose Mourinho, you definitely won't be able to handle Antonio Conte. He is very, very, very strict. But I think that's a frustrating thing for you guys. It's not being clinical enough in the transfer window. And also, just a little bit off topic, I don't know, Brandon, if you agree with me, but why doesn't teams, I think it's time the teams, put the same effort into getting managers out of contracts than they do with players? Because what happens with players is they'll pay a crap load of money to get them out of contract, to get them there because they play for the team. But ultimately, the bigger part of the team is the manager. But you never see this kind of stuff where they'll go like, well, listen here, we want Pochettino, we'll pay a release clause of 50, 60, 70, 80 mil, 100 mil, whatever it is. But you'll gladly pay that for a player. So in this case, in my mind, I'm trying to compare this, and I'm thinking of Harry Maguire, for instance. So he was paid 80 million for, right? He's not getting punished in any way for the performances that was happening, but Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is getting punished. But Harry Maguire is the one that costs the amount of money. He probably has I'm not sure what his wages are, but I'm sure he has big wages. Don't you guys think it's time, maybe this is a golden opportunity to say, well, listen here, let's put managers before players in this case. Pay the amount of money for stuff like this. I don't know, Brandon, do you think that it's a valid point?
Yeah, Ruan, I 100% agree with you. But I think this also highlights like one of the biggest issue at Man United at the moment. So from like an outsider's point of view, it just feels like there's no clear goal towards whatever they're working for. There seems to be no plan for the direction they're moving in. They'll go splash 80 mil on Harry Maguire just to keep the fans happy and say, yes, we got you guys a signing. We had an episode a few weeks ago just after the Liverpool game. And I think everyone was certain that Ole was going to be sacked. Conte was then still without a job. So it was the prime time to get this guy in, get Ole out. Everyone would have understood he would remain a club legend, but they sticked with him for another couple of weeks. I think a week or two after Conte signs a contract with Tottenham, then they decide to sack Ole. So I just feel like there's no clear indication of what Man United's plans are. I think it's disaster management, from start to beginning, and then they just hope that something sticks. But I also agree, I think clubs do need to invest more into their managers. But the transfer market has changed in a way where you get used to guys paying 80 million for a player like Maguire. When at a time when Ronaldo left for 84 million to Madrid, everyone was like, this is an eye-watering amount. So I think we're probably in a few years going to start seeing managers also move into these prices or categories.
Release clauses, etc. But on that note, it's actually very interesting that you mentioned Antonio Conte was still without a job and after the Liverpool game, etc. We actually spoke about this, Oral, where we said Ole went on holiday on the international break. He went on holiday, nobody practiced, nobody was out in the training fields. That to me was, I thought that was an indicator that he was going to get the sack, or it would have been a good opportunity to say, well, listen here, things are not working out. Let's get a manager in who can at least work with certain players while you're at the club. You do have 2 weeks to do this now. Instead, they had a week holiday. And for instance, I know Jadon Sancho didn't get called up for the England squad. That was an ideal time to sit with him, try and build his confidence, get a new manager in, maybe talk a little bit of new tactics. And I kind of feel like we're talking about there's a few opportunities where Manchester United could have signed someone. And I think for me, the best opportunity was in the international break after the Liverpool defeat. Obviously, the Watford defeat makes it so much worse because it could have been 5 or 6-1 at the end of the day. And because it is a club like Watford, no disrespect to Watford and Watford fans whatsoever, but I just think conceding 5 goals to Liverpool is not actually that bad thing, if you know what I mean. Because they are a free scoring team. They do this all the time. And I think the Watford game and then that international break was definitely a point where they had to sell something off. I'm just going to go a little bit off topic quickly. I just want to talk about the games that we missed this past weekend. And I'm going to tell you, we just talked about Antonio Conte. The Tottenham and Leeds game, for me, was an ideal opportunity, right, for Antonio Conte to come in and absolutely play his football against the team that allows him that the most. Because Leeds has that man-for-man marking thing, and at the end of the day, they really struggled. They won 2-1, but they weren't necessarily the better team at the end of the day. Do you guys quickly think, I just want to touch on this, do you guys think Tottenham has what it takes to maybe get into the top 6 with Antonio Conte, with the current squad that they have?
So I definitely think that Tottenham have a very good squad, and if there is a manager that's going to get the best out of these players, it has to be Antonio Conte. But there's something, going on in the background. I think Harry Kane's probably still unhappy that they refused his move in January, and I think a bunch of the players never really recovered from the Jose Mourinho era. There has to be a mental shift because these players are good enough, but play the worst football. Like, when's the last time one of you actually sat and watched a Tottenham match? It isn't good football they're playing. And they have great players, but they'll have to make that mental shift. And Conte is probably the guy to get them there, but we have to give him a few weeks.
I totally agree with that. And I mean, us having Jose Mourinho, like, just a little bit of kudos on Ole, just showed what great impact he had, bringing in a different form of football, having that awesome run that he had. Because Jose football is quite strenuous, and I think his philosophy is so deeply engraved in players that it takes him quite some time to get out of that.
Yeah.
And that to say, I don't think Nuno really had enough time also to work on them. I think he was just trying to get results going. And now, obviously, Conte is there. He's a big manager. He's a big man. He's got his own philosophy. I saw some of the players on Instagram and the likes were posting how hard they're busy working under Conte just to get the system going. So I think, like you say, Brendan, maybe just a few more weeks to give them time and just to settle in, and I think we're going to see the football going.
Yeah, if the football going is not going to happen, we're going to see a big explosion there. I can guarantee you that. Now, it's almost a guarantee with that guy. But he is a serial winner. Yeah. He is fantastic in bringing in changes to it. Then we go quickly to Liverpool and Arsenal. Liverpool were just a class above Arsenal. So for the first time, Arsenal were on a very good run. I think it was 10 undefeated games, if I have it correct.
Yeah.
But this is the first time they faced an opposition that was just a tier above them, and they had no answer. Absolutely. That second half, trying to play out from the back, it looked very poor. And I think that's where Arteta maybe needs a little bit more time to try and adapt to his game, because clearly whatever he was doing was not working at all.
It's more than time for me, man. I just think it's the technical abilities of these top end managers, Klopp, Pep, and Tuchel. I mean, like, you could see it. You could see it. It's just on another level. And I think that you can't get that with time. I think it's just literally on the manager.
It's literally on the manager, yeah. So, that was an absolute thrashing. I'm very pleased with the Chelsea result. Also, 3-0 Leicester, even though Leicester are a mid-table team at the moment. That was a very good, I think it was the best game we saw them play, except for the Juventus game yesterday. Man City winning yesterday also. Congratulations, 2-1 to PSG.
Yep.
Did you actually think at one moment, Brandon, things were going to change in that game? PSG might come to the party?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think which actually caused us to win the game was that Neymar and Mbappe kept running forward, but they never helped their defenders. So
they don't do that.
Never.
Yeah. I don't think Pochettino is the right manager for PSG at the moment because he has
I agree. No,
current
he's not.
the best squad in the world, and he isn't getting the best out of these players. So that PSG team should be winning every game 3-0. But City are obviously on the next level at the moment, so I'm very pleased with the win.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
just on that note, guys, just on that note, I think Man United has a better squad than PSG
yeah, I
in
do
terms
also.
of footballing squad.
I do also.
Not a football team or players, but a squad, a playing squad. And I think Pochettino can do much better with the Man United squad than with the PSG squad.
Yeah, I do agree with that. So look, the PSG thing is like everything they want to do is just attack. But if you have those three up front or those two up front who don't do pressing, they don't come back into and defend, you are left with 2 or 3 players less every single game. That is how it works. And the nature of the football and the style that football is going this last few seasons with Klopp, with Pep, even with Tuchel now, you have to have a whole squad that does everything. You have to defend together and you have to attack together. And my apologies if it sounds biased, but I think Chelsea's a fantastic example of that. When Rudiger scored his header in the Leicester game before the end of match week 12, Chelsea had 13 goals scored by defenders. 13. The rest of the 19 teams combined only scored 12. So that's a fantastic stat to show you, well, listen here, we do everything together. And no matter how guys like Timo Werner is doing, he still gets picked and he will still get picked because of stuff like this. He tracks back, he defends. He's not a great tackler or anything, but he's just there to disrupt the defense or the attack of the opposite team just a little bit. And I think that's the one thing about PSG that's not going to work. I mean, that young manager going to a Neymar telling them, listen here, you're not doing your job. I'm going to bench you. Can you imagine the repercussions and the news reports that would come out for something like that? Now, I'm saying this and I don't mean any disrespect towards Neymar. That's the type of player he is. And I just think the way Pochettino is coaching at the moment, you don't need that. I think elite managers, I'm not saying Pochettino is not elite, but I'm talking about maybe a Jurgen Klopp would get the best out of that guy. Also a Pep would get the best out of teams like that. But it's a strange one. And I think the rumors are going about all that if PSG don't win Champions League this year, I think Poch might get back or he might leave. At this very moment, I cannot see anyone winning the Champions League except English teams. I can't see that. It's either going to be a Liverpool, a Chelsea, a Man City, and then I'll throw Bayern in the mix. And the fifth choice would be a PSG.
We there.
You there.
We can get a good manager. You got to put our name there.
Well,
I mean, we've got Mr. Champions League.
Yeah, you've got Mr. Champions League. You have Mr. Champions League, and I'll just reflect to last season. Frank Lambert got sacked on the 26th of January or the 25th of January. It's one of those dates there. And then finished top of our group, conceded only 1 goal, and from there we won it. So there's every chance that you guys can win it. There's every chance. Well, we've been through this twice now, where we are not near favorites to win Champions League, and yet somehow we still do win it. But the PSG one is a little bit of a tough one. But on that note, we are quickly. Before we do the combined 11, I actually want to ask you something about Villarreal. I saw when I woke up the morning, the first report that I saw on the SuperSport app was Cristiano Ronaldo hides Man United flaws again. And then I went to watch, because 2-0 sounds very convincing against a very good Villarreal side. And then I watched the highlights and I saw Villa making so many bad mistakes. Were Man United actually very good? Did it look promising? What was your thoughts on that?
No, it wasn't promising at all. It was same old. I'll describe it this way. A very good drilled or very well drilled squad without Mr. Champions League, and us a very bad drilled squad with Mr. Champions League, and that was the difference.
That's the best way to explain something. That was fantastic. Well done.
That's the best I could explain it. If they had Ronaldo in the team, we could have been 4-5-0. Just the fact that they didn't have that cutting edge that we have in the likes of Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, and Jadon Sancho, Ronaldo. Just that alone was the difference. and that's what won it for us. But
Okay.
bad. The first half, I couldn't even watch it. It was abysmal. So yeah, I mean, we started McFred, we started Donny. Bruno was on the bench, and then about 65th minute or so, Bruno came up and Rashford, and the game immediately changed.
Sure.
So
That's good.
yeah.
All right. If you are still tuned in and you see we are reshuffled and our formation changed, we quickly had some, not technical issues, we had some connection issues, but we are back and we are going to start with our combined 11. If you do not know how this works, I'm a Chelsea fan. I will be nominating all my Chelsea players to get into this team, or as much as possible that I can get into. Oral is a Manchester United fan, and he will obviously be hyping his players to get into this combined 11. Brandon will be our referee. So that would mean if me and Oral could not come on a conclusion who's going to make the team and who's not going to make the team, Brandon will make the final call. Just for interest's sake, we are making this very interesting. If you are injured, you cannot make the team, so injured players cannot go. Current form is the biggest thing we're looking at this very moment, though we can put it up for debate if someone's class outclasses current form at the moment. Right, we're going to start with the goalkeeper, and I am firstly going to say the love story that is Edouard Mendy has to be in here for me. Yeah, I don't know. Oral, do you want to fight me on this one? Oral, are you there?
David Gia's just on a class of his own, I think. And I think he's the best keeper in the league at the moment.
I don't know. Brandon, I think that's a very big claim.
To win a game, we're putting David De Gea in there.
I hear what you're saying. I would say if you're looking to win a game, you put Ronaldo there. So, but I would say that's a big claim. So I don't think I'm going to win this one on my own. Brandon, do you want to come in and weigh in your 2 cents? The ref's in business straight away.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm taking nothing away from David De Gea. I think he's a great keeper, and he's really had to work extra hard with playing behind a very poor defense. And it would be interesting to see him in the Chelsea squad, to see how he would do behind that Chelsea defense. But at this moment, for me also personally, the best goalkeeper in the season so far has to be Mendy. So he definitely has to make the team. Sorry, Oral, maybe the next one.
Thank you. I'm just going to lay some stats here for you to back my opinion. There's a stat that came out for Peter Cech's first 50 or 60 games. I'm not sure what it is, so I'm talking under correction. But they both had 35 clean sheets and 35 goals conceded. If your first few games is on the equivalent of Peter Cech, right, in that golden Jose Mourinho area, that has to be some kind of compliment. So Brandon, if I understand correct, Mendy gets the call in this one?
Yes.
All right. Then Mendy gets the call. Sorry about that, Oral. We are going to go to right back. And I'm just going to say this to whoever is watching, whatever your team is, there is no way that I'm going to do a combined 11 and Reece James is not going to be right back. Irregardless, if you are Trent Alexander-Arnold, if you are anyone else, I do not care. He, at the moment, to me, is the most complete right back in the world. Ola, would you like to fight me with Wan-Bissaka, or are you happy with my call? He doesn't want to fight. Or are you there?
I think yes, I'm here.
All right, sorry, you can start over. Sorry about that.
I say no, I don't want to fight about Wan-Bissaka. However, I think but at the moment, I think he's probably one of the most underrated right backs at the moment. I don't think like a Trent Alexander-Arnold or the likes, but I think Reece James is just on a different level at the moment, and I see there's no other way that we have other right back there.
Yeah, he's, like I said, he's very complete from a defending perspective. Players bounce off him. He's extremely physical. And the type of goals he scores from the edge of the box, the strikes he gets, is like prime number 9 stuff. So yes, we have Reece James on the right side. Then in the middle of defense, I would like to say I would actually not have mind to have, I wouldn't mind to have Varane there, but he's injured at the moment. And also Harry Maguire's on a red card. So that means he won't play this weekend. So would it be fair for me to nominate Antonio Rudiger, who's been very, very good for Chelsea, and the Rolls Royce that is Thiago Silva? Would it be fair for me to nominate that, Oral?
100%. How else? I mean, how else? Varane's injured. Maguire's on the red. Even if he wasn't on red, I don't think I would have put him over Thiago Silva. So
sure,
you can have those two centre backs.
Thank you, man. And then we
who's going to start at centre back for United this weekend?
Probably Bailey and Lindelof.
Bailey and Lindelof is there. Unless Carrick just does a madness and gets full charge.
Or Fred.
Oh my word.
Or Fred. All right.
You know. So yeah.
And then we have to go to but that's going to be a tough one for you guys. But also, this is a concern for us also on the left back side. Ben Chilwell also has been in very, very good form, also scored some fantastic goals, fantastic strikes, but he is injured. It's not confirmed that he's out for this weekend's game, but he is injured. So I think he's out of the discussion. So we have Luke Shaw and Marcus Alonso. I'll be kind to you with this one and say you guys can have Luke Shaw.
But Luke Shaw is also a doubt because he's got concussion. So that's why I never played in our game on Tuesday. We had Alex Telles there, and I think if we have a choice between Alex Telles and Alonso, I'm taking Telles all day.
Yeah. So Alonso is very good on attack. He's almost like a second striker.
Yeah.
But at the pace he gets up to the pitch in front of goal is 3 times faster compared to when he has to track back. And that's actually one big concern that I have for this weekend's game. Would he be able to maintain Sancho? If Sancho's form starts getting up from here on after his goal, I'm a little bit worried. So with what we have at the moment, you can have Telles. I'll give that to you. But I would say if Ben Chilwell was not injured, I would have fighted for him on this episode. So there is our
and
back.
I would have fighted if Luke Shaw was not in concussion.
I think we did a Man City episode, Man United episode the last time Brandon was on the show, and I felt sorry for Luke Shaw because unfortunately he is part of a back four and a defense, but it's not him that's making the mistakes at the moment. So it's bad to see a play like that getting some flack because of the whole defensive unit and the midfield that's not doing their job. So I probably would have said Luke Shaw would have gotten that, but for now we'll stick to Telles. There we have our back 5 starting in goal with Edouard Mendy. Then we have Reece, the Flames, James, the Rolls Royce, Thiago. No, wait, we still we have the Rolls Royce, Thiago Silva. We have Antonio Rudiger, who's been very good, and then we have Telles for Manchester United. Now we go to the midfield, and this is where it also gets a little bit tricky. N'Golo Conte is injured also, and that is another concern I have. But I will be honest, he's been injured for a few weeks now. I think it's been 6 weeks in total, and I'm not going to lie, it's not like we've missed him. Look, he's a fantastic player. But I think at the moment, the Chelsea team is so well-oiled, it doesn't matter who has the jersey on, the machine just keeps on going. I mean, Ruben Loftus-Cheek came in to play the Kovacic role, because Kovacic is still injured for over 6 weeks now. He came in to play the Jorginho role, and Loftus-Cheek came in to play the Conte role, and he's done phenomenal. So you still have Jorginho there in the middle as the holder?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So that means, this is going to be tough. Now we have to actually choose a midfield too. Pogba is also injured, if I have that correct.
Correct, yeah.
All right. So I think that would leave a natural space for Bruno Fernandes there, even though he was benched, but he's not injured. So I would have Bruno Fernandes there. He's very creative. I think our other number 8 or our other midfielder has to be someone who has a box-to-box and who can do both things. Because we know Jorginho is not the best defender. We also know Bruno Fernandes is not. Yeah. And here's where it gets a little bit tricky. No N'Golo Kante at the moment. Who would you like to have in there? Or I don't know, Brandon, do you have suggestions for this? Because this is where my mind is stuck a little bit.
You know, I might even maybe. Sorry, Brendan. I might
You can
even
go.
I was
put
just going to
Matic.
say, I just want United to free Van der Beek. Like, he played
Yeah.
so well prior to going to United, and I wish we could just actually see him get consecutive, like 3 or 4 games. But yeah, that's just my opinion.
Look, he had a good game on Tuesday. Not a great game. He had a good game. And obviously I didn't expect him to be fireworks, because he hasn't had the game time that he so desperately needs. But what I would do maybe, I don't know if you would agree, if we maybe put Matic as a holding and put Jorginho as the box-to-box with Bruno.
No, Jorginho is a box-to-box. I'm going to say no. I won't have that, just because I know how he plays, and that's going to be a disaster. So I'm actually going to nominate Mason Mount, and I'll tell you the reasons why. He's currently playing as a left wing or an 8 or a 10, depends how the game pans out, whether they have the ball or whether they do not have the ball. But he's actually a number 8, a box-to-box. His off-the-ball work is second to none for someone who's actually an attacker at this moment. So I would actually nominate Mason Mount as the next number 8. I don't know, Brandon, or do you guys agree?
If we taking someone out of their position, then I'm putting Donny van der Beek in there as a box-to-box.
Over Mason Mount on current form.
Yeah.
Brandon.
Look, he's not playing his position.
That's true, but he is
playing
actually
his position.
He is actually a number 8.
Yeah, well.
So I know in Southgate's team he plays as an 8. I don't know. This is going to be a tough one. Brandon, you're going to have to come in here.
Basically, the only way to call this is on current form, and then you have to go to Mason Mount. But yeah, it's a very difficult call. But obviously, the Chelsea team is in a lot better form at the moment. So I think more of their players are more likely to make the squad. And Mason Mount has also had an extraordinary season. So we need to put him in the team.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Thank you for that. So there's out of his. There we go. Sour Oral. There's our midfield right there. We have Jorginho as the lone pivot who will be there. Then we have Bruno Fernandes as the creative player and Mason Mount as the genuine 8 to 8. I actually think that's a good midfield. I really do. I think there's an element of everything in that midfield right there. Now we go to our attacking front 3. So there are names in abundance that we can choose there. But on current form, I think maybe we can just agree in the middle can be Cristiano Ronaldo. I will give him the go-ahead ahead of Lukaku, because Lukaku has been injured the last 4 or 5 weeks. He is back, but he has not played he hasn't had any game time since the injury. So, Oral, Brandon, you're happy to have Cristiano Ronaldo there in the middle?
Yep.
All right.
Definitely.
And then we have to go to the right side. So on our right side, it would either be Kai Havertz. There's a lot. Kai Havertz, Christian Pulisic is back now also. Hudson-Odoi has been in fantastic form. Ziyech is getting into his own a little bit now. I don't know. Horrell, who are you going to nominate there?
Dude, we've been so inconsistent with our lineup. Look, Jadon Sancho looks like this last 2 games he's been coming alive. He scored a crack on Tuesday. Do I put him over Ziyech? Probably not. Mason Greenwood has COVID, so he's out of it. So I'll probably go for Ziyech.
Sure.
Man United, dude, I don't know.
Yes.
For me, it's either you put Jadon Sancho in there or not.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying.
And if you're talking current form, it's a tough one for me. It's a tough one.
Yeah,
for me.
The current form thing and the winger thing is quite strange because it's going to be a weird episode if you know that Jadon Sancho and Timo Werner scored on the same day on Tuesday. Which is quite strange. So Ziyech, I'll be honest about this. Ziyech is someone who frustrates me quite a bit. Ziyech frustrates me a little bit. He's not I would give it to Hudson-Odoi on the left. I would clearly give it to him, and I don't know if you would be fine with a Ziyech, a Hudson-Odoi, and a Cristiano Ronaldo in the front 3, or do you like to pull someone out and promote your players?
Dude, Rashford you can't have a starting lineup without Rashford if he's fit.
Okay.
Especially in big games. And then if we're talking about the big man like Jaden, we've got to put him in.
Okay. Let's do this thing.
So,
I would be fine.
Rashford, Ronaldo, Sancho for me in front.
Ooh, I would take Rashford. I would say Rashford, Ronaldo, and Hudson-Odoi. That's who I would take at the moment. Hudson-Odoi is in very good form. He's scoring a lot of goals. He's getting a lot of game time. If Pulisic wasn't injured, I would have put Pulisic in, but he's not. So would you budge for that, Oral? Taking out Sancho just because of current form. His current form is not good. Hudson-Odoi's current form is very good.
Yeah.
Same age players. And remember, you have to remember, Hudson-Odoi is 21 years old, 20 years old, if I have it correct. He also has a Champions League and already has a Europa League also.
Yeah.
All right, so there it is.
We can settle on it.
Thank you so much, Oral. Okay, we've got that settled. This has to be the toughest one we've done to date, purely because of the injuries that we have. So that's very, very strange. But thank you guys for sticking this one out. There's our combined 11. You can have a look at it now. Just quickly, predictions. Who's going to win? What's going to be the score, Oral? Chelsea, Man United.
Dude, if we get the manager today that can work at least 48 hours with our squad, then I'll put us at least to get something out of it. If Michael Carey goes in as caretaker or interim or whatever they call it, dude, I'll be happy to get the draw.
Okay, you'll be happy. I think you would be happy with the draw.
I think we're just so far off the pace at the moment that being expensive and saying we're gonna kick you guys 3-1 or 3-2 or whatever, I think it just okay. A little bit unrealistic.
I'm gonna go 2-0.
Although look, there's good vibes. Ollie's out. We've got a good win against Villarreal. But
there's
a draw
big,
for me
morale.
at this stage is a good result. Yeah.
There's a better morale for me.
Would be a good result.
There's definitely a better morale for you guys at the moment. If we lose against Manchester United, we would look like a joke. And it's no disrespect to you guys. I just mean if you consider the past results, it would not fall good on us. But Thomas Tuchel's in-game management has been superb so far. I am going to go for a 3-0 for Chelsea. Brandon, your call?
I really want United to do us a favor and beat Chelsea this weekend. So I'm going to be rooting for United, but my head's telling me it's going to be 2-0 or 3-1 for Chelsea.
Okay, that's what we have there. Once again, thank you guys for sticking it out with us. Thank you for watching the show. Please enjoy the football this week and this weekend. And until next time, always remember to chip the keeper.